Hello, this is the Oracle in part two of the telepathy workshop that I am now creating for you. And I would like to continue my discussion of the universal mind symbology and meaning. Now, what I didn't tell you about the universal symbols are that every culture on the planet Earth has symbology around birth and death, around water, around the breath, around sunrise and sunset. Every culture on earth understands that birds or the night and the dark have specialized meanings. Mountains and valleys have specialized meanings that all of us understand. Caves are also a part of nature that all of us have understanding about. So no single person who is a member of humanity would fail to understand moonrise as a special time, or the full moon as a special time, or the phases of the moon. So, if we get these kinds of symbols clearly understood in our mind, when we try to send a message, we can use them powerfully because they are archetypically built into the DNA of the essence that we are. But the other thing, our personal symbols, say for example, let's say that a railroad track or a railroad train were a personal symbol for us, not necessarily a universal symbol, although many people will understand the train to be a moving vehicle, a connection, a symbol for connection, and a symbol for straight line moving over a flat terrain. But those of us who get trains, say in our dreams, might being told that we are traveling by the mode that we are best suited for, or perhaps we need to shift to airplanes or travel by dream travel or astral travel. So we start to understand ourselves the more we understand our symbols. In the matter of symbology, the best thing that we can do for ourselves is to know what uses telepathy might have in using either personal or universal symbols. Some of the uses of symbology and of telepathy would include to explain to someone else using a symbol or metaphor. So you want to explain to your mother why it is important for you to go to a dance. And you say to your mother, well, what if everyone was in a certain location and I was invited to be there and they could not begin unless I was there? Then your mother would say, that's ludicrous. Life goes on whether you're there or not. But the symbol that you might use is the tree. You say, yes, but every leaf on a tree in the beginning of springtime is very important. At which point your mother would recognize that you would be a part of a cycle, a season, and a necessarily unfolding of nature. So those would be some of the ways in which you might use telepathy. At the moment that you're asking for permission to go, you send that symbol of the budding tree just from here. You just create it by thinking it in the third eye. And many times we're talking to others or we're engaged in an activity and our minds are somewhere else, thinking right in here about some picture of satisfaction or some duty or something that is other than what we're doing in the moment. And in that, people often say, stay in the moment. In order for you to be a conscious human being, to be aware of yourself and what your thought is, you need to be aware of what pictures you're making in your third eye as you go about your day, and particularly what you're thinking of when you are, in fact, looking at another person and talking to them. Telepathy can also be used to provide clear communications. And again, this is a case for metaphor and for you to draw on the symbols of nature in order to explain yourself. If you want to say that you want to send a message from your heart to another person's heart, to let someone know that they are loved, and you're talking on the telephone and you cannot see them. You're not on Skype or Uvu or any of the new technological video transmissions, but you do want that person to see and know your heart. Then, as you are saying, I love you, you picture in your mind's eye yourself hugging that person. Or, of course, you can send telepathically a Valentine's heart box. Or, in your mind's eye, you might send the picture of a ring, which would give them a sense of being not only promised and united with you, but joined by the vows that are inherent in that symbol that you send. Also, telepathy can be used to give directions to a location. That location could be 40 miles away or 10 blocks away or a half a block away. But while you're trying to explain, giving them the landmarks and the exact numerical mileage, you might also picture that place and send it to that person. So you see, telepathy is not necessarily there for mystic activities or particularly to stun the world with your great mental abilities. It's actually very useful and very present and practical in our everyday lives. Finally, another good use for telepathy would be to help you with appropriate word choice, or you could use it to be more tactful in what it is you're trying to say. In case your words are not right, you can send pictures of what you mean. You can use telepathy to motivate people. You're talking to a small child, and the small child is standing there really not understanding. But just as you train small animals, you just send the picture of what it is you expect. If you want the child to take their thumb from their mouth, in your mind's eye, you picture taking that child taking the thumb from the mouth. They receive that and do so. I want you to try some of these so that you'll know that it's so, that you have great mind power if you use it positively and constructively. Finally, telepathy can be used to give clear examples. So those are some of the uses in terms of using the universal or the personal symbols. I want to try a little experiment with you regarding telepathy now. I am going to send you an image right now, and then I'm going to hold it in my mind for a few moments because you will still be able to get it even though we have this video which is holding me in place in perpetuity. So that means I might be on video doing this 100,000 times and you could sneak and look at the answers ahead of time, or this one time will be sufficient for you to learn to receive. So now I am thinking of a particular animal. I'll give you that much. And I am thinking of not only the color, but I'm thinking of the size. I'm thinking of the location. I am thinking of its form and color. And I am speaking the name of the animal in my mind. If you receive this, write that down now. Very good. If you haven't had time to get paper or pencil, I will give you another few moments to get pencil or paper in hand. And in the meantime, I'll sing you a song. Nothing could be finer than to be in Carolina in the morning. Nothing could be sweeter than to be with baby Neater in the morning. I like the sunrise when it's coming up fine. I like to know I'm with that baby of mine. Nothing could be finer than to be in Carolina in the morning. Okay, I hope that was sufficient. All right, so now I am going to tell you what that particular image was. But before I tell you what the image was, I'm going to tell you how to know if you were right. And this is my formula. This belongs only to the Oracle Shariananda. I developed it, I arrived at it, and I want you to test it in this way. When you are trying to know if you are right about a direct send from me to you, or from another to you, or from you to another, the thing that you can know by to ask is that they got it exactly right. There was no, if it was a cup that I sent you, you wrote the word cup. If it was a hat that I sent you, you wrote the word hat. So that's the first undeniable proof that you got the proper image. The second thing is you got an idea related to the thing. So the first thing is to have it exactly. The second is to have an idea related to it. So if the idea was a cup, I actually sent you a cup, then an idea could be thirst. You might all of a sudden had the idea that you were thirsty, or you might have felt like you suddenly needed to urinate. These would be related. Also, you may have gotten the idea, a sense of gripping in your hand. So if that idea was cup, then something in your hand might have, your muscles in your hand might have shown a reflex. The body teaches us what we know telepathically many times. So watch your body overall also, or notice what images come. There is an association as well. Let's say that you didn't get the exact word that I gave you, and you did not get an associated feeling or a situation with that, say, cup or hat. Then the third way to know is you got something in association with it. Let's say that you got a plate. Plates and cups might go together at a meal serving, or you might have gotten a saucer, a small saucer, which is associated with the cup. But you may equally have gotten a picture of Jesus Christ holding a cup for communion, or you may have gotten the idea of cup, but you may have gotten a jock cup. So either way, you are still in the vicinity because your telepathic powers do work. Now, for precision, it will only take practice. But in this instance, I am telling you that all you need to do is come up with association. The fourth way that you might know that you're in the right vicinity is you would have gotten the idea of color. Let's say that the color of the cup was white, and what you saw was a white sheet, or you may have seen a white flag or a white rose. You got the color white. You did not get the exact item. You did not get the related idea. You did not get an association, but you got the color. That tells you that your telepathy is working. The next thing that might be of use to let you know that you're in the vicinity of being able to use your telepathic power is to have gotten the form. Let's say that the cup is shaped like a triangle. That is, you turn it upside down and you've got an opening and you've got the bottom with narrows. If the cup was shaped like a triangle, like one of those water dispenser cups, then you would have gotten the proper form. You would have gotten a triangle. So that means that you could have gotten a isosceles triangle. You could have gotten the pyramids. You could have gotten anything that is in such a shape, and you would have known that was the form. So you would have been in the right place for that. Also, you could have gotten the texture. Now, let's say this cup that I sent you a message for was ribbed and that it felt like you could feel the ribs going all the way around it. Let's say that you got a sensation of bumpiness on your fingers, or you got in your mind you saw a wood grain, or let's say in your mind you saw striped flags that were slightly raised. Let's say something that was embroidered, but you could feel that. You got the texture, that there was a texture. Now, I did not send you the word cup, but we are using it for an example. Let's say that I also gave you the other way to know is that you got the opposite of what I sent you. So if I sent you the idea of cup, but you actually got a pot, or a pot and a cup both hold water or liquids or some dish, but not necessarily in the same way. You may have also gotten a glass, which would be something opposite, but not exactly so different. You might have even gotten a spoon, since many people stir their coffee or chocolate or soup in a cup. So there might have been something altogether opposite of the cup, perhaps a pitcher, for example, of water or of a liquid of some kind. We will stop now and go to video number 3. Thank you.